has it been compromised? They know I have a bunch of Apple prototypes. All right, guys, I think it'll be okay. Just don't tell Tim. I feel like someone's watching me. Cole, I think the room might be bugged. Wow. We gotta lay low. Welcome everyone to season 3 of Elite Obsolete Electronics. I'm Austin Lucas. Today we're covering Apple prototypes. We've got a Skank phone here, technically not a prototype, but these and this, they all are. I am no expert when it comes to prototypes or generally anything Apple internal. I'm more of an enthusiast. If you have any additional information or if I said something wrong, incorrect, please let me know in the comments. That being said, we've got 2 buckets here. These are cables and accessories, and these are full devices. I think this episode we're gonna do a little bit of each, but first we've got 2 prototype iPod hi-fis here we're gonna take a look at. They're both very, very similar, if not indistinguishable from production units. First of all, we've got a DVT unit, iPod hi-fi, with the Apple development team tags here, with some information on the manufacturing of each part, who did it, and then of course the disclaimer that this is a prototype and not licensed in any way for sale in the United States. Otherwise, this unit functions totally normally. Some of you might be able to hear that. And that is not good. I really have no idea what that sound could be. I assume that this thing took a bit of a beating. You can see signs of physical damage all throughout the cones. It does function, but it sounds terrible. Unclear to me if that's because it's a prototype unit with experimental hardware or if it's simply just... Now we're gonna see if we can get a production unit brought up here for us. Wait, that's not Logan. Whoa guys, this is The. So he brought us a production iPod hi-fi that we're gonna use to compare to the prototype. So everyone say hi. So it is right there. This is the production model. This is the DVT configuration and the serial number here, right at the end of it, DVT1. And then this guy is also a prototype. This one's PVT, Unit 64, configuration 1. And this one seems to have more testing information rather than the manufacturer information from the DVT unit. I know it does work, except for the audio in on the back. We could not get that to work. Physically, this one's in very, very nice shape, and it sounds like a normal hi-fi. And we're gonna check the serial number real quick. So there's your serial number for this unit. Ends in PVT1. I purchased this PVT1 October 19th, 2023 for about 180 bucks. Unfortunately, since then, the listing has expired and I'm no longer able to pull like the original seller's description or any additional information about these hi-fis. But even the semi-damaged DVT1 still sounds better than the HomePod. All right, we're gonna move on. Next up, we're gonna take a look at the Skank phone, iPhone 2G. As you can see on the back here, there's no serial number, no model number, no regulatory certificates. Not even the iPhone text is on the back of this model. And it is genuine. The seller I bought it from does not believe it's a prototype, but an internal testing unit. It is an early model because it does run Skank Phone. It's still on iOS 1. And we're gonna take a quick look at it. Might be dead. Oh, there she is. Okay, so we're in Skank Phone right now. Here's the serial number. We've got more than a couple options. We're gonna go through them one by one. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory, and again, I'm no expert. This is more or less my first time really sitting down and messing with this thing. So we've got a pretty basic phone here. You can imagine that's used for testing. Compose a message, please. And it crashes. Oh, whoa, hello. Is there really a cached Apple website in here? You can barely make it out. It looks like maybe from about 2010. It's mentioning the iPad. Oh, wow, okay. 2014. And this is not connected to our Wi-Fi network. I'm not sure how this is being cached. I have a suspicion that I'm just spoiled with modern technology and the operating speed that we're used to, but I suspect something is wrong. Not really working like it's supposed to. Like the serial number is a box of Cheerios. Yeah, I bet this is painful for people who know like how to use this. And then quit, and that should take us to iPhone OS. Yeah, here we are. Okay, so no SIM installed. It really did not want to detect a Wi-Fi network and seemed to imply that there was no Wi-Fi on this unit. So we're gonna see if we can connect to our network. And yeah, it pops up there. Interesting. And so we've got our Skank Phone app here. Go ahead and launch it. I'm gonna go ahead and power this thing down. cool. So next up, we've got maybe the star of the show, the Apple iPort. Now this is a factory testing tool for USB Type-C cables, and it's actually fairly modern. We don't have an exact date for manufacture. It's suspected these things are still in use, and as you can see from the condition of the aluminum housing here, it's been through quite a lot. Got some markings in Sharpie on one side. It does say iPort underneath whatever was on the sticker. It appears to be some Mandarin text, but it does not say designed by Apple. It says designed by HWTE in Shanghai. Now you might ask yourself, how do you power this on? We've got two USB Type-C ports at the top, and those are for testing. We've got a micro USB port at the bottom, and then we've got this little latch for, yes, AAA batteries. So we're gonna power this thing on with the greatest technology known to man, and it should pop on if we hold the button here. The iPort. So it says to start test, connect USB Type-C cable and press home button, which presumably is this button. It does have an e-ink display, and it has sort of all this information, which I may have been able to decipher while I was still in school, but it has all escaped me. So I'm gonna decide to make use of our EVT one here and our DVT one here. So we've got one cable plugged in on the left, one on the right, and we should be able to press home button. I have no idea how to use this thing, nor do I have the proper equipment to actually interpret the results. All right, so we are keeping our micro USB cable here because next we've got the iBeacon. Yeah, so we do have an Apple logo here, designed by Apple in California, assembled in China, model A1573. And as you can see, we've got a little micro USB port there, so plug this in. Little red LED right there. Cole is actually an iBeacon fanatic.
I'm not. Hey. Evidently, it was announced in 2013 at like WWDC. This thing would use Bluetooth Low Energy to talk to devices. So like, I think McDonald's bought a bunch of these. You walk in and then it talks to the app and it knows your phone is in there. So you get a special deal that you only get inside the store.
How can we connect to it?
I don't know yet.
I don't know. We're probably gonna move on unless someone can tell me in the comments if there's an easy way to enable this device and maybe it's paired with someone else's device. I'm not sure, but we've got some more exciting things to cover. So next up, we've got something I'm actually qualified to talk about, a DVT model iPod Classic 6th generation 160 gig thick. For comparison's sake, 160 gigabyte 6th generation iPod Classic here. Instead of 160 gigabytes on the production unit, it actually says DVT. You've got your serial number, and then designed by Apple in California, assembled in China. Model number A1238 on the production unit, but the prototype is model number AXXXX. Same thing with the EMC number. It's X'd out, but this unit does have a serial number and seems to either be the prototype, not a North American unit, or simply just did not pass all of the regulatory tests. There are a few minor discrepancies just in the way that everything was printed on the backplate here, and we're gonna take a closer look at this one. It does work. However, I'm afraid it's been wiped. So nothing out of the ordinary, and I'm gonna crack this thing open, show you the inside really quickly. Listen to that puppy whir. So I'd like to check the power on ours. So we are on the latest diagnostic mode firmware, IO, hard drive, and take a look at the smart data. And it does not want to open the device. Hanging, very strange because it just booted. While this thing turns on, I want to give an honorable mention to this iPod Classic 1st generation, which has been disassembled, and it still has the factory JTAG connector right there. So when I first got this specific iPod, it didn't power on at all. It did nothing. We weren't able to repair it, and it is still dead. There's some kind of short, but I've yet to see another iPod Classic 1 with this connector present. And that's about where it ends for this unit. I'm kind of curious what you guys think. Since at least the faceplate is in fairly poor condition, would it be ruining this prototype to swap it out with another silver faceplate that's maybe in better condition? So we have 166 power on hours. So when I said it's been wiped, I mean from its prototyping stage assuming that this device was actually being used to maybe prototype software. Given that it's in the final stage of prototyping DVT, not likely, so I may be wrong with that. We're gonna take a look at settings about. So we've got an MB145LL. Here's your serial number. It's on the latest version. We've got 1,058 songs, 3 games as standard. Otherwise, it's really not as interesting. We are gonna check to see if the serial number is the same on the logic board as it is on the back. 8K73000U Z7R. Yeah, that's it? Yeah, okay. I have been in here already, just to sort of investigate. Quite dirty in here. Appears to be an original battery. Same with the hard drive. We're gonna take a quick look at the logic board. 820-2168-04. Physically, it looks identical to a production unit. From the markings on the midframe here, it seems to suggest July 17th, 2007, and same with the markings on the LCD shield. And this model was introduced September 2007, I believe, so seems legit. Of course, Apple will start producing the parts and the units as a whole before the device is released so they can meet consumer demand. I'm not sure if this window is really early enough to make it indisputably a prototype, but we're gonna put this thing back together. All right, and last but not least, we've got the EVT iPod Classic 7th generation 160 gigabyte blue board. So a bit of a backstory behind this one. This logic board came from a lot of about 400 or 500. It was individual mixed in with them. I didn't realize it was different until after I'd sent it to a customer in South Korea. They decided to return it and I inspected it and realized, oh my God, this is not a production logic board. We don't have a comparison here, so I'm gonna have to put some photos on screen. Would you look at that? That is just incredible. Damn. Now, as far as this faceplate, click wheel, center button, these are all custom aftermarket. I thought it was a good way to show off. I mean, seriously, that's so cool. 820-2437-01, right there at the top. If you look closely, you can see that each component, even the larger ICs, have certain imperfections, which would imply that this logic board was assembled by hand at the Apple engineering facilities. This board is genuinely one of a kind. It's the only publicly documented example still to survive to this day. Its serial number is actually not the original serial number. I believe the board did not have a serial number while it was being prototyped. But if you look up the serial number it's assigned now, it first pops up in 2011 as being an AppleCare replacement unit. And from the research that I did and the folks I talked to would imply that this is how an Apple employee snuck it out of the engineering facility. And we're gonna move on to the lightning round. Accessories. We all have them, and Apple prototypes them. First off, we're gonna start with a correction. So we took a look at this 30-pin to USB cable for retail scenarios, and this little jack here. I claimed it was for Ethernet. The nice folks in the comment section informed me that this was actually to trigger the alarm, anti-theft. If someone were to take the phone, it would come unplugged. We've got a set of prototype Apple AirTag holders. We've got your QR code. I don't see any sort of text or identifying information. And we've got another one here which does have some identifying information on the band here. Designed by Apple in California, assembled in China. On the other side, nothing. Next up, we've got a ClearShot 20-watt Apple power adapter here. Plus, I believe a DVT 20-watt. A few interesting things on the ClearShot. You've got no holes on the North American plug, which I believe shouldn't affect functionality. I'm not sure if that's part of prototyping, but I certainly know that the ClearShot case is. If I had to guess, it would be EVT, just because it's still in the engineering phase when you would need the ClearShot. This one has the little grippies on it.
I know, I love the grippies.
Yeah, so this one is actually DVT. 18 watts from what the seller claims. It has these little dimples, much like the Apple Compact 35-watt power adapter. I'm gonna test it out, dude. So we've got a Type-C cable with a little built-in multimeter. We've got my iPhone 15 Pro Max. It's at 69%. I'm hoping it can take a full fast charge, so we're at 6 watts, 8 watts, 11 watts, 12 watts, okay, 14. Cole does not wanna use his laptop to test the power delivery on this. Oh. And honestly, maybe I don't blame him. It's stabilized at around 14 or 15 watts. We're gonna test the ClearShot, I believe EVT, 20 watts. Oh wow, would you look at that? Hey, Apple logo, designed by Apple in California, 20 watts. I've got my iPhone here, I've got the ClearShot. We're gonna see what the power delivery is like. Oh, up to 18 on this one, okay. 20. All right, so this one is what it says it is. So we've got a EVT Lightning USB-C cable. Pretty cool, came with the original bag and everything. I'm not sure I've even tested this, but we're gonna move on. We've still got a little bucket here full of prototypes we need to look at. I hope you guys enjoyed. Smash like, let me know what I got wrong. Please, I'd like to learn about all of these devices, and stay tuned for next time.
Wow, what an amazing day.